Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is so close. But before we learn the final fate of our beloved Guardians, we thought it might be fun to get in our last-second predictions to what we think might happen in this final installment of the trilogy. So join me and some of the other familiar faces from New Rockstars as we place our bets before the final die is cast on Volume 3.
Everyone's saying Rocket, and I say he lives. He's an animated character. Why would they get rid of him? They need him around. Who are they gonna kill? They're gonna kill Drax, baby. And I think Star-Lord could be looking at a demise here, and I think we're gonna kill Gamora again. Those three, Drax, Star-Lord, Gamora, gone.
Well, Drax is the obvious answer, right? Everyone's given that one. I'm gonna say that one too. Has anyone had the cojones to say Peter Quill? They have? Oh. You know what? Well, I'm the one with the least stakes, so I'm gonna have the cojones too, and I'm saying Star-Lord's going down in this one. Am I super confident? Doesn't matter, I guess. That's what I'm guessing.
I think Drax is gonna die. I think Kraglin might die just because, you know, if James Gunn is leaving this franchise, so is Sean Gunn. And because Marvel always kills off their villains, I think Herbert Wyndham's gonna die.
I believe that Kraglin is the most likely to die in Guardians 3, simply because James Gunn likes to kill his brother in movies.
I feel like it's gonna be Rocket. I'm also bad at guessing these things. If it's not Rocket, then it's probably Lila. So I'll put like 5 chips towards Rocket, 20 towards Lila.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there's 2 deaths, Rocket and Drax, baby. R&D, bye-bye.
I think that Rocket is gonna die, and I think that Drax is gonna die. All of the Rocket stuff in the trailers has been really sad, and I cried for 25 minutes this morning when I watched the one of him naming himself. To me, that just says dead guy. Drax, Dave Bautista is leaving, so it would just make sense to kill him off.
You know, I think we could see Thor show up, a little 1-for-1. The Guardian showed up in Thor's movie. I think Thor could show up again. I think it would also be a lot of fun to see Arishem. Does that count? Celestial showing up. I think that could be a cameo we see in this movie.
Howard the Duck is pretty much a done deal. Howard the Duck always shows up.
Well, Howard the Duck is gonna show up, but that's not really a surprise cameo, I would say. He's done all of these. I think we might see Michael Rooker as some form of Yondu, either a ghost or in a memory, a flashback of some kind of recording of himself. But I think the surprise twist is that Benicio del Toro is gonna show up as Tannelir Tavon, the Collector.
Kevin Bacon? No, if it's not Kevin Bacon, if we're not Kevin in that bacon, I'm gonna say Wonder Man.
Ooh, an MCU surprise cameo coming in from Uatu the Watcher.
Number 1, Madison and Wang. They could come back hard and fast and together. 2, Pip and Eros. Man, what happened to those guys? We saw them so long ago. What happened? Where'd they go? What's up? They could come back. They're in space, probably. I don't know. 3, Doctor Strange and his freaky little forehead eye. Maybe with Charlize Theron, maybe not.
I think we're gonna get a surprise appearance from an 80s icon, still around today, but really at the height in the 80s. Arnold Schwarzenegger, baby. Sylvester Stallone put in a call. Schwarzenegger's gonna show up in this movie, either as himself or as like a weird alien.
You know, I'm rooting for Kevin Bacon to come back. Come on back, Kevin Bacon. If it's any time, it's now, again. I mean, it was also for the holiday special, but it's now again.
Well, Kevin Bacon showed up in the Guardians holiday special. They shot that around the same time they were shooting Guardians Volume 3, but I think since this is the last of this trilogy, Alyssa Milano's gotta make a cameo here.
Joan Jett. Is she dead? Is Joan Jett dead? I don't think Joan Jett's dead, but I'll say Joan Jett.
We're gonna get payoffs for all the babes the ships have been named after. Pat Benatar, Alyssa Milano, coming in hot.
Molly Ringwald, Matthew Broderick, or Pamela Anderson, baby.
I think in this movie, we're gonna get a reference to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Yeah, the High Evolutionary, he's got that like gray skull action going on. I think Peter will make like a nice He-Man and the Masters of the Universe thing. All these animal people running around. He would have seen that before he got abducted.
I don't know. They're going to a planet with a bunch of animals. I'm gonna say there's a sneaking Animal Farm reference in there.
Footloose. There's no way that Footloose doesn't get referenced. Kevin Bacon is always on Peter Quill's mind.
The only movies Peter knows are ones in the 80s, and it tends not to be the big hits. It tends to be just weird shows that he watched. But since we have Adam Warlock in this, he's a character who gets cocooned. I wonder if we'll get a reference to the Ron Howard movie Cocoon.
Oh my God, they'll find a shake weight.
So when they're on that like animal planet that the Higher Evolutionary makes, I think we're gonna get a reference to 8-track and specifically songs on 8-track like Redbone, Come and Get Your Love.
I think that we are going to go through the very sad discovery that Star-Lord has when he realizes that the lead singer of Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, is dead. Now he has a Zune. He's gonna get into Nirvana. There's no way he can't. It's a 90s staple. And I think he's gonna be real bummed out.
Music has always been such an important part of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and Nerd Riot's new Awesome Mix merch collection has taken that idea and run with it. They have mashed up iconic album art with the Guardians themselves. It's the perfect gear to wear opening weekend or while rocking out in your daily life. Never mind whether or not you grew up on grunge, you could get Grunge Groot. But if all the stars have you feeling more like Ziggy Stardust, then the Ziggy Star-Lord tee might be what you need. If you like Dark Side of the Moon, then you'll love this Dark Side of the Galaxy tee. Meanwhile, I'm rocking my all-time favorite rock album, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, because I can never break the chain. And I'm wearing this Rumors-inspired Ravagers shirt. Highly recommend you grab one. Shopping at Nerd Riot is one of the best ways to support our channel, and in addition to tons more Guardians merch, you can find merch inspired by the MCU, Star Wars, DC, all your favorite fandoms. To get your hands on the merch you need, head to nerdriot.shop today. Join the riot over at nerdriot.shop.
One of the post-credit scenes is going to be Adam Warlock flying through space, just sailing around, and he zips by a kind of familiar looking ship that we've seen recently containing our boy Star Fox. That's right, Eros. We're going to see some of the Eternals. Adam Warlock's going to come on the ship and be like, this is my ship now. Where are we going? I want to hang out with you guys.
I might go safe and just say it'll have an adventure in it. Does that count? I'm gonna say Cosmo the Space Dog is gonna be featured heavily in one of the post-credit scenes.
The post-credit scene will introduce us into the broader Marvel cosmic landscape, and we will meet the Herald of Galactus, Silver Surfer, and the implication that Galactus will arrive. Since we know the setting of Nowhere is coming back, I think it'd be interesting if Nowhere just gets devoured by Galactus, or that weird fleshy structure, that factory that they go to, might just be some of the crumbs or scraps of what Galactus had eaten in the past.
I believe that there's a chance that we could see the birth of either Adam Warlock's evil counterpart, the Magus, or the beginnings of Richard Rider, Nova.
I think one of the post-credit scenes will be the Collector, and he'll be on Earth.
One of the post-credit scenes is going to be the Silver Surfer.
Moon Knight is just gonna appear and go, ah.
At the end of this movie, the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna be Nebula. This is gonna be her full arc of story, from true bad all the way believing everything her father said, all the way to being true good, leading the Guardians, being the one stepping up and taking charge of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
If I'm sticking to my guns that Star-Lord is gonna die, I'm gonna say Mr. Adam Warlock. Really confidently, I'm saying that.
I think the leaders of the Guardians will be Nebula and or Rocket. I think Rocket's gonna survive this movie, but I think Nebula's gonna step up as the leader of the gang.
Oh, I think it's gonna be Mantis. It'll probably be still Star-Lord, but I want it to be Mantis.
My best bet is that Mantis will end up being the new Star-Lord at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
At the end of the movie, it's Ladies' Night, folks. Mantis, Nebula, and Gamora will be leading a newly formed Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think that Nebula is gonna lead the Guardians at the end of the movie. I think it would be kind of cool because she was in the beginning like the most reluctant member of the Guardians to join, and then she finally did. That was like her big character development, was finally realizing that these people are her family. So I think it would be cool if we saw her carry the baton forward.
Of the current Guardians who will still be on the team, if we consider Nebula to be a Guardian, then she'll still be on the team. I think Kraglin will still be there. I think Rocket and Groot will both be gone. I think Rocket and Groot survive the movie, but they leave the Guardians. So of the current members, Nebula, Kraglin, and Mantis. And that's it.
You know, anyone who doesn't die is gonna stick on the team. Anyone who survives, I feel like the team is gonna stick together.
Yeah, so I think Nebula and Rocket and Groot. I think Groot's gonna survive because Groot already has died. I think Mantis is gonna be around. I think Cosmo is gonna stick around as a member of this group.
I think all the Guardians will stay on the Guardians that aren't dead. If Drax or Rocket die, then the rest of the Guardians will still be on the team.
I think Gamora and Nebula will lead as sisters. I believe Mantis will stay on as kind of the empath healer of the group. We may see Quill going to find himself after realizing he can't find his true love with Gamora.
I think that along with Nebula, we are going to have Mantis, because she's cool. Where would she go? Maybe Groot, Mantis, and Nebula go on a big space journey together.
We are gonna find out so much about Xandar. They're gonna stop by Xandar. It's gonna be rebuilding still. It was decimated by Thanos. Probably still affected by the snap, whatever was left, and then the blood people came back. But they got hit first. So a lot of the damage Thanos did to obtain the Power Stone didn't get undone by the Hulk's little snap, okay? Glenn Close, possibly still alive. John C. Reilly, still alive. Let's hope. He's got a family. We're gonna find out about Xandar in this movie. They're gonna answer all our questions that we had.
We're not hearing about Xandar in this movie.
I think yes. Yes, Xandar has always been home terrain that James Gunn specifically has cared most about of all the MCU directors, and in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we do briefly see part of the Xandarian Empire with one of the ships of the Nova Corps overseeing it. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if James Gunn at least addresses it in this third movie.
Yes, I think we'll explore Xandar, or at least the cops.
Xandar is the police force of the galaxy, and Guardians are sort of acting like that in their own way. So like these two police forces are definitely going to be clashing or running into each other at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a John C. Reilly and a Glenn Close cameo at the end of this movie from the first Guardians to kind of sew that Xandar storyline up together, although we do know that Thanos kind of went old school and called half the population.
Like maybe if we do find out about the current state of Xandar, I think it'll be in like a couple lines. I don't think we're gonna go to Xandar.
Peter Quill, having battled most of his demons at this point, he went back to Earth briefly, but wanted to be back out in space again. He's gonna be like, you know what? I'm going back to Earth for real this time. I'm hanging it up. And when he tries to go back to Earth, Nick Fury kills him. And he's like, you can't be here anymore. You gotta go. So that's how Peter Quill dies. Nick Fury kills him. And what a setup for Secret Invasion, folks.
Rocket isn't gonna die. That's my twist. Everyone thinks he's gonna. I'm gonna say he's not.
So I think we might end up getting another baby Rocket Raccoon, like to carry on that Rocket Raccoon legacy, to harken back to the end of Guardians 1 when a Rocket got a new Groot. So Groot will probably get a new baby Rocket.
Well, I have talked about in other videos, I think the core secret of this movie is that celestial blood, that yellow fluid that we see in all these movies, is what is being used to engineer these beings, to endow them with some kind of consciousness and sentience. And I think this movie will be the one to genetically identify everybody with a celestial link as a mutant in the Marvel world. And we'll finally get a genetic definition of mutant kind in this movie.
Wild card big twist is that Gamora winds up on Earth and Valentina gets her to join the Thunderbolts.
Adam Warlock is going to kill the higher evolutionary.
Using time travel, Nebula and Gamora are gonna go back in time. They're gonna rescue Baby Rocket and all of his cute little animal friends before they get got by the weird scientist man guy. And they're gonna save them, and they're just gonna be cute little babies who grow up without trauma. But because they're raised by Nebula and Gamora, they're still gonna be able to fight and be cool guys, and it'll be great. But in this timeline, they just live normal, happy lives, and nobody tortures baby animals, and it's nice.
So there you go. Will we be right? Will any of our predictions come true? Or are our MCU prognostication skills completely out of whack? What are your predictions for the film? Leave them in the comments below. My live stream breakdown and Q&A of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be this Friday, May 5th at noon Eastern on the Deep Dive channel, so be sure to subscribe and support us by grabbing some Guardians of the Galaxy inspired merch at nerdriot.shop. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.